Welcome everybody, welcome to another video coming to you from the tomb of EL-lumination. This video is about magnetism, another one. I've done plenty on magnetism. Now we just need to highlight the point here that I think I'm the only guy, the only one in the world who's put it out on the internet, or the first, that I explained that the snake represents the magnetic field. This goes right back to the Bible, the book of physics, Bible. Now, I've never heard anybody talk about it. The snake, how it represents the magnetic cycle. For starters, there's half the cycle in the sun's dilemma. There's half the cycle. Then you've got the other returning cycle. And you see this figure here, well, similar. It's lander, isn't it? I've done a recent video on this, the magnetic cycle, and you've got the Milky Way here coming off. It's all to do with flat earth physics. You won't understand anything if you don't understand flat earth physics. That's why most people don't understand anything. So the Bible talks about the snake who supposedly lured Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden. And many of you would have seen symbols like, there's the man and how they draw the snake up the man. Well, you got the caduceus. You've got the snake going up there, right? There's his heady part. And some depictions have the coming back the other way. Big head, which is just a returning cycle, and all the, and you know how they draw this. Oh crikey! Draw this like this. Well, they've got a T section there. Well, this is the return of Christ, isn't it? Return of Christ, which is the Christos, meaning oil within the human body, a substance that gets flushed through the body and up again. And that part in the Bible is regarding ye to he who stands up, because you need to stand up to let the oil flush through up and down your body, mixes with your blood. There's also, that's the red wine, you see. You got the oil, the blood, which is the blood, red wine, which creates the elixir, the stimulant, the adrenaline in the body. So you've got the oil, the blood, and you've got the water, of course, which is brain fluid. And this comes about from opening the gates of heaven. What are the gates of heaven? Claustroms. You have two claustroms on either side, and one in each hemisphere of your brain. It's they call it a ribbon or a strap, but it opens, it part ways it separates, and that separation causes the bleeding, like losing your virginity. Okay? And through comes the water, the brain fluid. The purest substance in the human body is the water locked in the center of your brain. Okay? Brain fluid flushes through the claustrum. Claustrum, okay? Now, I'm the only one in the world who told everybody that the snake represents the magnetic field. And somewhere in the Bible or esoteric language it says, bite thy heel, wound thy head. So something is going on here and something goes on there. Something's going from there to there. What is it? Well, as above, so below. It's all polarities. So in the sky, and this goes back to the zodiac sign, you will have the sun, and you will have the full moon. Full moon. Okay? There's the center of the zodiac. That, when that comes about at a particular time that you'll only find on my Patreon, somewhere there, this happens with man. Okay? This polarity and this polarity. Now, how this works with magnetism is understanding the magnetic field, which I've done plenty of times in my videos. But let's say here's a magnet. Well, there's your bar magnet, right? They don't teach you. Does it look like this? Do they tell you it looks like this? It's actually like this. This is offset. Now, offset. This is potential energy. Offset. How do I explain that? The northern hemisphere, most of the year is, or the southern hemisphere, most of the year is offset to the centre northern hemisphere. Here's your flat earth plan here. There's a tropical gap in here, that red zone. There's your northern hemisphere, there's southern hemisphere. One magnetic cycle say the sun and limit over the entire earthly system as a whole is basically doing this. But you see that within your arc of horizon if you filmed it all the time. So we don't never see the full earthly system, the whole system, but we understand it all. So this offset is this gap here, the tropical gap. It's in here. So in a bar magnet, this is the south. This is just south. This is just south. And this is the north. Okay? So you bring another bar magnet into it, alongside it. And if you want it to attract, you're going to have to flip it over. So you get, right? So you get that and that. So you'll have the south, and the north and the north there. Okay? They're going to attract, otherwise if you flip it back over, they're not going to attract, are they? The two like poles are going to repel, which is what we have in the tropics here. These are both south poles. Both Arctics, you call it the Antarctic, which is just an Arctic. You got the Arctic here. Arctic. That's the original state, so that's what we call it anti-Arctic. So you've got an Arctic and then you've got an anti-Arctic, which is there. Oh no, it's there. Oh no, there it is. It's up there. Oh look, see? It's everywhere. Because it's mirrored. Every meridian, it's just mirrored. It's everywhere. This is why we get a 24-hour sun out here at the right time of the year when the magnetic field is down and out. It's everywhere. Okay? So let's put that together, shall we? Understand, once you put these together, you've got to understand this ratio. There's an imbalance there too. See, there's always this imbalance. I drew in here, the potential energy. There's always this imbalance to our dual realm. Because balance is the resting state. And that's perfection. And once that happens, there's two ways to look at that. Once that happens, things cease to happen. There's just nothing going on. Or you've reached the goal and you're complete when it comes to spiritual rebirth, the reason to life and all that. You've basically gained your entire zodiac sign. Because normally you'd only get that and that in your 9 months, right? Well, you're missing that. You're missing the cornerstone the builder's rejected. But when you go through this spiritual rebirth and the meaning to life, you get the whole lot. You become God-like. That is God. So you've got this imbalance because it's a broader field, a weaker, broader field, the southern hemisphere. You see it out here? Spread out more, isn't it? So yeah, it goes quite deep and it's quite complicated, but it's basically the guts of it. Okay. But then you've got to go 3D to understand why that's not marrying in with this, why there's no balance there. So you've got to understand, so I won't go there yet, it's a bit complicated for the next step. So you've got to understand the imbalance here, okay? And everything's trying to seek balance. So when you bring these together, what happens? It equalizes. That becomes equal with that. So you get some equilibrium balance. And then you'll get a south there and another south there. So these two are equalized and create the north. And that's basically what you get here in this flat earth plan design. That's how it works. The south all the way around there and north and there. But this north-south, if you went like this, put that down the middle. Let's just do it quickly like this, shall we? You've got north, 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 north. South, 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 south. Whoops, stuffed up here. South, 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 south. North, 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 north. Wow, look at this. Does that look like a snake? Well, I've just drawn the human backbone. Okay? North, south, north, south, north, south. Now, this just goes on and on and on, you know. This is to do with your chakras. Chakras, or raising your kundalini. Kundalini. Kundalini or Kundalini? Maybe Kundalini. Up your spine to your mountain. Now this goes, I shouldn't do it like that. This goes like, well, let's roughly go like that. You've got 7 vertebrae up in the neck here, okay? Now the top vertebrae has wings on it, which represent flight, okay? The Freemasons know all about this. This is why they give you, and other reasons too, because the aeroplane has wings. They give the pilots this because you've gained flight, you know, you've gained your license or whatever. But this, you find the 7 vertebrae up there gives light. And it's all about this 7 here. 7 represents the 7 days of purification and religion. So I don't want to go there. 33, you know, take away the 7, you've got 26. You can work on that. I've got nothing on that at the minute. There's 7 days of purification, and there's 7 days of purification in here, where the sun is. And that 7 days is 7 days out of the 47 degrees the sun crosses the tropics. So take that out, and then you've got 40 days and 40 nights left, haven't you? Do they teach you that? Don't think so. It's all about the sun's cycle in 1 year. The whole Bible is about this cycle here. So there you have your magnetism, why it's connected to the Kaddish, whatever you say. The symbol here, through the human body, to spiritual awakening. This is your sacrum down here, which is the dung gate. 2 words. Dung gate. This is your hell. This is hell down here. You want to get up to heaven. Heaved up heaven. Okay. What else can I say? So, realise whenever they talk about the snake, you know, refer it back to the magnetic field, the magnetic cycle. So the snake prompted them to eat the apple, the forbidden apple. Haven't got that on my mind at the moment, but you know, the apple is shaped. It's a bit dead. The apple is shaped like this, isn't it? Well, that's a cardioid cycle. It's a full cycle. So that's this is the 2D plane. This is the 2D plane. It goes like this. Okay? But then it has to find its way back again. So this is 2D plane represents this. And the 3D. Okay? This is up on the 2D plane, the flat plane, which is the ecliptic plane. The planets go around, you know, Ptolemy's planetary cycles. It's circular, but it's a 2D plane. But then the 3D was created from that. This is the primordial deep. It just came you know, there's no 3D in a 2D, is there? Not from here, there isn't. That way. But look down there, there's all this depth. You think, what the hell, where'd that come from? You look over here, go, there's nothing there. What the heck? There's all this 3D depth. Well, it all comes about from magnetism. This is where Earth is from. It comes from nothing. Because everything in our realm's of the mind, anyway. So you can relate that back to that. Okay? So there's your half cycle, then it's got to finish it off, doesn't it? Well, there's the other half. There's your apple. And this represents the 9. This is the divine spot. Okay? This is why the ancients gave us, do I get that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They give us 8. They give you 8 moon cycles. There's a full moon down there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you know this period from there to there, if you go 3.69, Tesla's numbers, 3.69 days. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 times 3.69, let me just get my calculator, so I'm going to do it that. .69 times 8. I used to do this years ago, just forget. Equals 29.52. Well, blow me down. That's a full moon cycle, a monthly Sidonic moon cycle. Okay. So you'll have to move these around a bit more, like to there, because it's this full motion in here. And then it includes this other motion out of here to the other one, sort of thing. Because that's the whole, because the sidereal only takes you to here. The stars, in relation to the stars, it doesn't take you that 2.2 days when the moon is lost in the sun, the light of the sun. So all these loops you see on some of these esoteric sites, or cycles of the planetary motions or whatever, all those cycles or epicycles or whatever you want to call them, aren't the planets going around the sun, but that's where they go. They appear to go into the sun, because we're standing here, say, and there's the cycle behind us, and we're looking this is the tropics here. We're looking this way, so we look this way. Oh, wow, there's our sun, going in and out between the tropics. But in reality, the true sun's back here and here. The true sun is hidden in the centre Arctic and out here, everywhere out here. It's depending on the season though, it gets a bit deep. This is what they call the magnetic mirror. We are deceived. This is Plato's original meaning in that allegory, which isn't an allegory, it's a fact. We're all dumb looking at the shadow on the wall here when the real thing is over here behind us. Okay? No one in the world's talked about that either. You only get all these firsts over here. Okay? This is how it works. We've got a sun and a lemma in the northern hemisphere. We get a southern and a lemma in the southern hemisphere. And that point there, they are different dates. Okay? I'm the only guy who can explain all that too. So, Where am I going? Okay, so there's your apple. So Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden because they ate from the apple. Now, the Bible starts off, don't eat from the Garden of Eden. But when you understand everything, you get to the end of the Bible and go, oh my God. It's such a divine book when you understand it. And, you know, it can make you quite emotional at the end there. Because at the end, God's basically thanking you for what you've done, because you've created, you've made it. You are the mind, you are the gold that was mined. Your mind found the gold. Gold mining. See, everybody, we have to go forth into this world to breed other and humans for their mind to hopefully find the gold. So this is what going forth and multiplying means, because every time you do this, you are you're sort of replenishing the sun. This goes quite deep, you know, and most people can't handle this sort of stuff. Yeah. So this is the meaning to life. It's the return of Christ, and it's all a celestial alignment. But you have to be in the right conscious place for it to work. Otherwise, it doesn't work. But the moon, when it comes to this raising your chakras and all that, the moon adds her 1/7. You do the six on your own, okay? But without this, you get nowhere. So you've got to understand all that. No one teaches all that stuff. You'll only find it on my Patreon site. That Marcio someone, they're doing, you see it on YouTube talking about all the magnetic cycles and fields he's drawing in that. They still haven't put their finger on this stuff. I tell them, I keep mentioning it to them, but they sort of laugh me off. They got no idea. They don't understand this bigger field, because the big field and the small field, when they meet, they reach equilibrium, and then it just extrapolates out. They just create another north and south pole. But yeah, so that's what's happening. So these two will marry, they find balance. I haven't got that on my mind. They find balance, and then you just get your two souths out there. This represents the center of your mind, the center of your brain, the God zone. You know, this what's it called? The cluster, not cluster, can't remember the word. Right in the center of your brain. Solomon's temple. What else can I say? So it's understand that as above, so below. So the celestial bodies affect the human body. Not that you'd really know during till this divine period happens. You know, it's all about a resting state. If you're mentally in a resting state, because that's what it's all about, finding balance between your heart and your mind, not stressed out. And this is what the people who run the world, their job is to keep you down and out and stressed, so you never reach this goal. That's why there's always drama going on. They'll never tell the full truth. It's always 60-30, 60 truth, 30% BS. So it gets you all confused. So and everybody goes and picks sides. Or we'll go with this guy. We like his 60-30 bullshit, as opposed to this guy's 30-60 bullshit and that guy's 30-60 bullshit. They can't figure out on their own that it's all 30-60 bullshit. That's the problem with people today. And they go voting for all the same 30-60. Drive a man to drink. So there's your skull, there's your sacrum. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that, guys. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Plenty of world firsts over on my side, but you don't get many people going there for some weird reason.